I think Friedrich Nietzsche was the one who talked about how human beings are in desperate need of a framework of their reality. And so, for a long time, God and or religion gave people a framework, gave them answers. It gave them, like you said, it gave them the ability to let their ego die and be like, no, when I wake up in the morning, I know
it's okay because there's still
the earth will still be here. What was spinning, I thought I was at the center of it, but you know what? It's fine. It didn't need to be right all the time in order to have a framework to function. But, human nature, I think, especially when we get to higher levels of consciousness, we need more and more framework. And then at a certain point, because we started using a scientific method, Friedrich Nietzsche famously said, God is dead, meaning like we've moved past him. We no longer need that framework in order to sort of interact with our reality. We were both raised religious, and I think both of us came to a point where we no longer, well, for me anyway, it was more of just like, there's too much of my own observation of things that led me to think that, hey, that framework just doesn't add up. The evidence isn't there for it, and the evidence is by and large in favor of science and in the way that it explains and creates a framework for reality. But science famously doesn't answer all the questions, whereas like religion will answer all your questions, and it is a very nice, clean, if you have a question, it's going to have an answer. Science has lots of empty spots, lots of things that don't make sense. And so I think for some people leaving, a religious framework and going to like purely rely on science, it's like, this is going to be my framework for reality. I think both of us had this moment of being like, well, I need to go and find those empty spots and fill them. Because like, I don't like having empty spots in my framework.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head here. Yeah.
And so for me, I was less worried about cosmology than you were on that one. That one I was comfortable with. Big Bang, sure, that's an explanation enough. But for me, one that I noticed was like, okay, if I'm, if you don't believe you're the son of God, then that means you are a animal, essentially, an animal that can learn to talk. And so, okay, what makes us so special? Consciousness. What is consciousness? And so that we kind of went down this rabbit hole trying to understand it. I think I got to the point where I was like, all right, I know enough. I filled in some of these gaps. And, the beautiful thing about science is that, it's always going to be, well, we don't know. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you know as much as the bleeding, end of people in the field, and then you get to the answer of we don't know anything beyond this.
And it's okay. And that's okay.
Sometimes it's because, no, you literally can't get past the measuring problem. And sometimes it's like, we still got to do more research. We still got to do, there's still things we have done, or there still need to be a smart person to bring it all together for you. But yeah, and so like for me, I think a lot of the reasons why I get into consciousness theory, and then also now cosmology, which has been fun for you, is that we're trying to fill in that framework. It feels good. Feels good to have a fully fledged out framework.
I think it's you're right, it does feel good, but it's also just like you talk about it being gaps. For me, it was like fill the whole space.
Yeah.
Like fill the whole epistemological space, and what is the biggest and what is the smallest.
You went big.
That's literally what I'm doing.